Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here. Well, it's official. The United States government has made the cure worse than the COVID-19 pandemic. You see, right now, we have lost over 30,000 people in the United States due to the coronavirus pandemic. And that's with highly inflated death count because they've been adding in presumed cases as well as pre-existing cases. But I digress. Right now, we are on track to lose 500,000 people due to economic devastation. But before I get into the report, just a quick break. Stephen King once wrote that panic is highly contagious, especially in situations where nothing is known and everything is in flux. The world we live in flux, and it is full of a flood of information that is often full of more gossip than actual truth or facts. This makes it extremely hard to know what the real situation is. And not only that, but it can cause a lot of panic and cause people to make bad decisions. The only way to not get caught up in the chaos is to have a plan. And then you can avoid things like long lines, empty shelves, and desperate people, which is exactly what we're seeing right now. Use today to get prepared. And I personally use my Patriot Supply at preparewithlisa.com. And right now they have an amazing special on their 2-week kit at $70 off, and even more on their 4-week food supply kit. Now, my Patriot Supply experts have informed me that they are getting in a ton of orders, and they have 100 times their orders. And right now they're about 8 weeks out on shipping. But I want to encourage you, with everything going on with the virus, I have actually put in additional orders myself. So join me in those orders because you never know how long this thing will last. But definitely, this has encouraged a heart of preparedness. So get on over to preparewithlisa.com today. And just as a reminder, this stuff has a 25-year shelf life, and it comes complete with breakfast, lunch, dinners, and even snacks. So as I've said, I've put in additional orders, and I encourage you to do the same. So check it out at preparewithlisa.com. All right, back to the broadcast. All right. So how did I come to this conclusion that we're looking at 500,000 deaths here in the US due to the economic crisis, and that's just right now where we currently stand? Well, let's start first with this article on HuffingtonPost.com, and it's titled, "The Economy is a Real Killer. Every day, week, and month that the current recession continues and even deepens, more people die, get seriously injured physically, and suffer emotional hardships that can scar them for life." Now, in the article, it makes a very bold statement, and it says, for over 30 years, Harvey Brenner, a sociologist and public health expert at Johns Hopkins University and the University of Texas Health Science Center, has been carefully studying the link between economic fluctuations and the nation's physical and mental health. Based on the experience of the last half century, he has even estimated how many more deaths, suicides, heart attacks, homicides, and admissions to mental hospitals we can expect when unemployment rises. After crunching the numbers, Brenner calculated that for every 1% increase in unemployment rate, which is an additional 1.5 million people out of work, we can expect an additional 47,000 deaths, which include 26,000 deaths from heart attacks because heart attacks cause stress, 1,200 from suicide, 1,200 from suicide, 831 murders, and 635 deaths related to alcohol consumption. Those are some pretty bold statistics, but here's what Brenner is saying, just put simply. For every 1 point that we go up in unemployment, we lose 47,000 lives, okay? Now, we're gonna keep those two factors in our head. So where are we at, right? Well, right now, in the United States of America, we have 22 million people out of a job. That's massive. Take a look here at this article on ZeroHedge.com. 22 million jobless claims in 1 month. The last 4 weeks erase all jobs created since the Great Recession. That means every job that we created since 2008 is now gone. And that's only in 1 month time frame. Imagine what it's going to be like in a couple of weeks from now. We're heading full speed into Great Depression levels and beyond in a matter of months, not even. This is massive. Now let's take Brenner's calculations. For every 1% increase, 47,000 people died. We have 22 million people out of work right now. Let's factor this. Let's factor something else. Before I get into that, I want to show you something. We have 22,000 people out of work. I want to know how many people are being put out of work for every COVID-19 death. Well, we have 22 million people out of work. Let's divide that number by 30,985. 30,985 is the current death count at the making of this video of COVID-19. What does that put us at? 710. That means for every person who dies of COVID-19, there's about 710 people who lose their job. 710 people are losing their job for every COVID-19 death. The cure is turning out to be worse, just like I have been saying all along. Now, that's a side note, but I wanted you to see that. But let's factor now. How many people die as a result of this 22 million job increase? And for that, let me take you to the labor market information page. What this page is basically it tells you how many people are on the workforce, how many people have been unemployed that they've counted so far. And they're behind a lot because their last number as of March only shows 7 million people out of a job. But we're gonna work with this thing, okay? These numbers at the top of the screen there on the labor force, you'll see the statistics are in thousands. That means you have to add a couple of zeros, right, to each number. So you add 3 zeros to each number, and that gives you your number. So we're talking millions here when it has these numbers, right? So that gives you a quick break. I'm sure many of you already know that. But let's go to March, okay? In March, they only listed 7 million out of work, which basically equaled a 4%, 4.4% of people out of work. How did they get that number? Well, I'm going to show you. You take 7 million. And I'm going to do this on my phone with you, right? 7 million. That's the number of people who they claim lost their job. It was much higher, but nonetheless, we're going to divide that number by the number of people in the labor force. That's that 162 million number there. That's the number of people who are at work in the US, right? And you hit the equal sign and you've got your 4.3. So basically a 4.4% there. Okay, well, let's do that now with our 22 million count number. So we have 22 million people in April now out of a job. 22 million. And I'm going to use the same labor force number of 162 million from March, right? So let's divide that by 162 million. There we go. And that equals 13.5%. That means we're around, if you will, and I'm estimating here, right, getting rounded numbers, about 13.5 million people. That's the percent that our unemployment has jumped from going from that 7 million number to the 22 million. We're talking 13.5% in the US unemployed based off of the current labor statistics. Now, let's take that a step further. If we take that 13.5% of unemployment and multiply it by Brennan's calculation, that for every percent that the economy unemployment goes up, for every 1% that the unemployment goes up, you add 47,000 deaths. We're going to take that number and multiply it by 47,000. I hope you guys are following my math here. Okay. 13.5 times 47,000. There's that 47,000. You could do the math yourself. 634,000 people to die of suicide or murder or heart attack. These kinds of things, according to Brennan's information and statistics. That many people. And let's just say, on average, we have about 3 to 4% unemployment rate. Let's take away the 3 to 4 unemployment rate, which would be 47,000 times 4 is subtracted from this number, which basically puts us at 500,000, almost 500,000 people. Now compare that even to the highest death count on COVID-19, which was 250 by the President of the United States, 250,000 versus 500,000. And that's just taking the numbers today. Imagine when that number goes from 22 million to 40 million or 50 million or 60 million. Now, how many more lives are we looking at? This is math that each and every single one of us can do. I don't know about you, but I am willing to risk this virus in order to save millions of lives. I think we need to start taking that stand. I think we really, really do. And I think that's what we have to start putting before us. If not, all of our freedoms are going to be taken away and many lives could be lost. Anyhow, I love each and every single one of you. Please don't forget, subscribe to the channel here. And thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.